Hello, everybody. My name is Shane, and I work at the Pentagon City Microsoft store. And today we are going to be going over Microsoft Teams. It's the hub for teamwork in Office 365. As we all know right now, everybody is working from home a lot more and needs a hub for collaboration, and Teams is going to be doing just that. It integrates Office 365 productivity tools in one place and is the next level of communication through chat and calls and collaboration through file sharing, co-authoring, and screen sharing. As you can see, I'm sharing my screen right now. I'm currently using Teams in the web app, but there is also a desktop app. So I am going to go over all the features of Teams in general and in specifics, but first I just want to go over a little bit of the user interface. So over on the left here, you can see all of these tabs, and these are what you are going to click on to get to the different parts of Teams. Up at the top, you have activity, and activity is where all of your notifications are going to come through. This is going to be very similar to your cell phone or social media or your notifications that come in through Windows. Underneath that, we have chat. So chat is going to be the most similar part of Teams to Skype or Skype for Business, if you have used that in the past. Underneath that, we have Teams. Teams are going to be the hub of teamwork for the application. This is where you will join all of your different teams that you have in your workplace, as well as with projects. Under that, you have your calendar. Calendar is where all of your meetings and events are going to be scheduled, and you will be able to create, join, and invite to events using the calendar. Calls are where you will be starting and joining calls, as well as you can do one-on-one or one-to-many calls, where you can do voice chatting with other users. And then files is going to be where all of your files live. These are going to be files that are uploaded through Teams, files that you've uploaded yourself, or you can access your own OneDrive for Business through that as well. So that's just a general overview. The nice thing about Teams is that it's deeply integrated with Office 365 and includes utilization of your digital identity within Office 365. So up here is your digital identity. This is basically just going to be your Office 365 user information, and we'll go over all of these options a little bit later. But just so you know, that's where you can find that. We recommend the use of the desktop program for Teams. If you need to download that, if it has not already been deployed to your machine, you can just go to teams.microsoft.com, and that will let you access the web app up here. And then down in the lower left-hand corner, there is a download desktop app option that you can then click on, and that'll allow you to download it. You just need to log in with your work credentials. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with chat. Chat is the most similar to Skype for Business or just regular Skype. In chat, you will be able to message other users one-on-one, and you will see everybody that you are able to message. Let me just go down here and start a message with somebody. So now I have a chat open with Marvin, and you can see right here, I can mouse over and see that Marvin is offline. So that's what we mean by your digital identity and your presence. Presence is whether or not you are available to receive messages. Up here, you can see my presence is set to available. Marvin is offline because he's not currently logged in, but you can also change your presence from available to busy and do not disturb, as well as you can be right back or appear to be away. Do not disturb will prevent you from getting notifications. Right now, I am on do not disturb on my actual work teams, so that any pings that I get or notifications are currently muted. So I'm not going to get those popping in while I'm working on a presentation. You can do peer-to-peer chats, but you can also do group chats. Group chats are going to function very much like a group chat on your smartphone would. You can send people messages, as well as send files and pictures. So when you are chatting with somebody, you can see down here, you have a lot of chat options. If you click on the first one, it allows you to format a little bit more deeply. You can do the standard text formatting, as well as highlighting, font sizes, and anything else that you might need to do. Next to that is urgent delivery options. So if you're sending a message to somebody, a standard message will follow their notification settings for one-to-one chatting. Important will send them a notification saying that this message is important and it should be read quickly. Urgent should not be abused because it will notify that person every 2 minutes for 20 minutes. And that's not just on Teams. It'll also send them Outlook emails. And if they have Teams on their phone, it'll send them notifications to their phones as well. So if you absolutely need to get in touch with somebody and it is a business emergency, urgent is the way to go. After that, you have attachments. Attachments will allow you to pull files from your OneDrive or local files from your computer to send to people in a one-on-one chat or a group chat setting. After that, you also have emoji. There's the Windows emoji menu that allows you to send different emoji. Most of us are already familiar with emoji, but that allows you to add a little bit of extra flair to your messages. You can also do GIFs, which are similar. You can send GIFs to chats and use that again if you want to respond without actually having to type anything out. There's also stickers, which are customizable pictures that you can use. You can look at through the popular stickers as well as any other kinds of stickers that we have in here. And it looks like I just received a message from the system administrator. Hello, Raymond. And I can click on a sticker and customize the text and say thanks. As you guys could see, when he sent me a message, it came in as a notification from down here. And that is customizable, but the reason that is helpful is that when people are sending you one-on-one messages, usually it's something important. So you can see just here, system administrator reacted to my message. You can also, in addition to sending emojis, you can react to messages as well. You can see he reacted with the heart, and I can go up and look at these different reactions, I can give him a thumbs up that shows that I read that message. In addition to the reactions, you can also save the message, which will allow you to look it up later, mark it as unread, which if I do that, you'll see that it shows up as bold over here, saying that it is unread. And then you can also share it to Outlook and put it in Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader is something that will allow you to see the messages in a clutter-free zone. You can also have the computer read it to you, and you can change the font sizes as well. Immersive Reader is something that's available in many Microsoft softwares, so if you've used it before, it'll work very similarly on Teams. So now, Raymond just sent me an urgent message, and so you can see if I don't acknowledge that, it still shows up over here on the left that it was an urgent message. And now I've tabbed over to it again, and it marks it read. So now, thank you for your urgent message. In addition to being able to send pictures and stickers, you can also schedule a meeting from right within chat. And what that does is it creates the new meeting window with the people who are in that chat with you. We'll go over creating a new meeting in a little bit, but just know that you can get to it right from a one-to-one or group chat. In addition to that, you can also add Stream, which is Microsoft's video hosting software service, and you can also Praise. Praise is something that is pretty cool, and you can use it not only in chats, but you can also use it in teams themselves. And if you use it in a team, everybody who's a part of that team can see it, but you can praise somebody for any of these scenarios and thank them for the work that they've done. This ellipses down here will allow you to add some other stuff. You may not have access to third-party apps, but any of the Microsoft apps you'll be able to use. When you start a meeting through the chat, it's basically referred to as an ad hoc meeting, and you can use that to share the screen like I'm currently doing right now, or you can use audio calling as well. And a really easy way to do that is with these symbols up here. You can see I can start an audio call, or I can start a video call with Raymond whenever I need to. And that's if we are working on something and maybe typing isn't going fast enough and we need to be able to talk face to face. That's a really easy way to just send a call, and I can show him something on my screen. Maybe if I want to present something to him, or I need help with something that I'm doing, and he can look at my screen and check that out. In addition to that, you can also add people to a group chat. So if I want to add someone, I can start typing their name and hit add. And this will actually create a new chat. You can see over on the left, this was my one-on-one with Raymond, but now we have a group chat created as well. And I can say, hello all, and now we have a group chat with Marvin and Raymond. Up here, you can now see everybody who is currently in the chat. You can see myself, you can see Marvin, and you can see Raymond, the system administrator. You can then add more people, or you can leave the chat if you have decided that the group chat is not relevant to what you are currently doing. It's the chat feature in Teams is definitely an upgrade from Skype. You do have persistent chat, which means that your history is kept intact and it is searchable. If you have used Skype for Business before, You may remember that your conversation history gets sent to you in an email once you end a conversation with somebody, which was a nice feature, but it wasn't necessarily the most convenient when you want to look at a comprehensive chat history. So now your chat history is saved until you decide to manually delete it. You can also send screenshots, GIFs, and stickers, which we talked about down here. And you can use the formatting options as well as tags. So tags are really cool. If you type @ now it'll show you who is in the chat that I can then @. So I can say system administrator, thank you for the information. And when you @ somebody, it gives everybody the ability to click on them to either start a chat individually with them, send them an email, view their organization, or start a video or audio call. It will also send them a special notification. So normally you will get notifications for chats, but if somebody @ you in a chat, you will get a different kind of notification, and you can customize one-on-one chat notifications, group chat notifications, and @ in addition to that. You can also, I think, yeah, my user does not have the ability to attach files, but attaching files is very similar to how you would attach files in an email. It works with OneDrive for Business, so it'll use your OneDrive for Business credentials to look at your file structure for OneDrive and allow you to select files to share with people. But you can also upload a file from your computer if you want to add something that you haven't quite uploaded to OneDrive yet. Any files that you upload in a chat, either a group chat or a one-on-one chat, you can actually click on this tab up here, which allows you to look at the files that are available. And we'll go over these files tabs more when we get to the Teams part. The nice thing about chats is if you are in a group project with a couple people that you share a team with, sometimes a chat may be the easier way to get information shared between members than creating an entirely new team. So if I'm in a team with a group of people I work with, but maybe 3 of us are selected to work on a very specific part of the project, then it may be easier to create a chat with people than it is to actually create an entirely new team. Now we can see that we have some files added. So now that a file was uploaded, I can see it right here in the chat itself. If I click on it, it'll take us to the file. Oh, let's see. Let's close that. I'll click on that one instead. Yeah, I guess it's that file is not available. But this is where it would open. It opens right inside Teams, and then now in the Files tab, you can see the file name is right here. You can see who uploaded it. You can see when it was shared, and you can also open it online, download it, or get a link to it. Opening it online will open a new tab and take you to what you were looking for, the file itself. And then if you download it, it'll download it locally to your computer. You want to be careful when downloading things locally to your computer because all the work done in Teams is done collaboratively, meaning that, thank you very much, Raymond, meaning that as you open something in the web app here, it will actually be editing the file itself that was uploaded. So multiple people can be working on the file at the same time, But if you download it to your computer, depending on your internet connection and depending on how you save it, you may end up creating copies of the file. So you just want to make sure if you're downloading to your computer that you're being very careful about where you're saving it. It should save automatically to the SharePoint that it is hosted on, but again, that is dependent on your internet connection. And then getting a link will allow you to nab a link to that file itself. So if somebody shared the file and you want to share it with somebody else, you can go in and copy this link, and it will allow you to then paste it with somebody else and give them a link to that file as well. So right here, he uploaded the file, but he also added a new tab at the top of the chat. So right here, our original tabs were chat and files, but you can also see now there's a new one called PDF. That is the file that he uploaded. He added it as a tab. So if you're working with people in a group chat or working one-on-one with somebody, you can actually add a specific file as a tab. And if you do that, you can then have very easy and quick access to that file. So I'm going to go ahead and add Word. And let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have access to my files. Being able to add the tab at the top of the chat. Okay. Yeah, so right here you can see Raymond said changes to users. So basically adding people to teams, giving access to docs, setting new users, etc. is taking up to 24 hours to populate through the system due to very high Azure Teams usage. It's system-wide for all organizations. So basically what's going on is I'm not able to add my files or see the files that are being uploaded, and unfortunately that's just because of the high Teams usage, but that is because a lot of people are using it to work from home right now. But the tabs up at the top will allow you to work with other people on files that have been uploaded, and that is helpful for when you want to collaborate on files themselves. Also at the top, you can see who is in the group chat that you have created, and you can also click on this little pencil to name the group chat as well. So let's just call it group chat. And now you can see up here, it says group chat as the name. Over here on the left, you can also see where it says group chat. And then right here, you can see that I changed the group name to group chat. Anytime anybody changes the name, it will broadcast it to everybody in the team. You can also, if you are an administrator and you want to add people, you can see right here, now that it's a group chat and I'm going to add somebody, you can see whether I want to include chat history or not. So this is good, say if you are working on something that may have had some information in it that you didn't want the new user to see, or you're adding somebody temporarily to the group chat, you can choose not to include chat history, or you can include chat history from the past number of days, or you could include all chat history if there's somebody who needs to be able to look back. This easily allows somebody to catch up with the conversation if you need them to, or like I said, if there's information that they don't need to know, you can choose to hide the chat history as well. Anytime you upload a file in here, it does save it on the cloud. It saves it in SharePoint, and it also pulls it from your OneDrive. Now that we have a couple chats, we can see all of the options available with these chats. Thank you, Raymond, again for the information. Yeah, right now we're having limited functionality in our demos as the team's people prioritize bandwidth and capabilities for live working environments. So because this is a demo, our changes may not be made as quickly because we want to prioritize people who are actually doing work from homes. But that is why we do have the questions. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We do have somebody monitoring the chat for that. So over here on each of the chats, you can see an ellipsis, and that allows you to look at more options. So we already talked about mark as unread. You can mark something as unread. Say somebody sends you a message and it's something that you need to be able to get to, but you can't work on it right now. You can click mark as unread, and that'll make it bold. And you can see over here on the left, it will also add another notification to your chat to make sure that your attention is drawn to it and you can see that it is something that you still need to read. That's a good practice if it's something you can't get to right now. In addition to that, you can also pin a chat. So let's say this group chat right here is important enough that I want to make sure it is always at the top and it doesn't get lost in the other chats that I have. I can go ahead and pin that, and that will have it show up at the top under my pinned chats. And you can minimize your recent chats, or you can minimize your pinned chats, and that way it will only show up at the top and won't get lost down here. So if you find a lot of people are sending you individual messages, or you're in a lot of group chats, you can put the most important ones at the top so you can always access them as quickly as you want. Then you click again to unpin in case something becomes less important. You can also mute a chat. What that means is if you mute it, you will no longer receive notifications for that chat. So let's say you were added to a chat that maybe you want to be able to check into from now and then, but you don't necessarily want to leave the chat because you want to be able to go back and look at everything that's been in that chat. You can mute it, and that way you will no longer get notifications for that chat, but you will still be able to go in and look at it. These are some best practices for kind of controlling noise and keeping chats organized. You can utilize your presence, which is, again, your availability up here, as well as muting and pinning conversations in a way that'll keep your work streamlined. Again, just remember that from within these group chats or these peer-to-peer chats, you can quickly create a call just by going up here, and you can, in that call, you can share your screen, and video is you can decide whether or not you want to share your video when you start the call. Up here on this tab, you can see contacts. If I want to add a contact, I can start typing system administrator and click add. And now that is going to add Raymond, my system administrator, to my list of favorite contacts. And that way, if I ever need to reach him, I can just go click on here and he'll show up. It'll show up my one-to-one chat with him. And that way you can easily manage people that you talk to a lot, and you'll be able to message them at just a couple clicks. If you want to start a new chat as well, you can just go up here to this new chat button at the top, and then you can start typing a name to be able to start a chat with that person. Over here, you can click on the arrow to create a group, and you can create a new group chat and add the people that you want to add to that as well. So as you can see, there are multiple ways to get things done in the chat interface. Right now, I believe that's about everything in regards to chat. Like I said, if you are familiar with Skype for Business, you can see that it is very similar and has a lot of similar features. Right now, I'm just going to take a minute or so to see if anybody has anything that they want to add or any questions that need to be addressed. Is everybody doing okay? Alrighty. Well, it sounds like everything is going okay. So I'm just going to continue. Um, so underneath chat, the next tab is going to be Teams. Now, this really is the core of Microsoft Teams, obviously. It's in the name. A team is a workspace that you're either an owner or a member of. So teams are created by either your organization, or if you have the permissions, you can create a team, or if you don't have the permissions to create a team, you can still be added to teams by other people, or you can join teams that are public within your organization. If you don't see any teams listed right here after you click on the Teams tab, it means you're not yet a member. If you're an owner, that means you can go to the settings and control various options. And you can also request team creation as well. Up here at the top, no, it's down here, sorry. Down here at the bottom, you can see join or create a team. If you click on that, it'll let you either enter a code to join a team, or click on here to create a team. If your organization has public teams that you can join, it will actually show those public teams in here as well. If I click on create a team, you can see I can build a team from scratch, or I can create from an existing Office 365 group or team. But we already have a lot of teams created, so we are just going to stick to these already created teams. All of the teams are made up of channels and tabs. So we already went over tabs a little bit with chat, but we'll go over them more in depth when it comes to teams. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the top team right here, Appeals Officers, and it's going to automatically put me in the General tab. This is the General tab right here, where the main communication will happen. So posting in a team is very similar to posting on maybe social media, in that if I were to send a message to the team, now you can see I've sent this message right here. Just as it was in chat, anybody can react to the message, save it. I'm able to edit it or delete it. But in addition to all of that, somebody else can go in and reply. So if somebody else replies here, and I can actually show you in another team what that looks like, you can now see these are things that have been posted in this team. So Raymond, the system administrator, has posted this announcement. He's labeled it important, and I can then reply, thanks for the information. And now you can see that I have replied to it. When it's labeled as important, you'll see this little exclamation point next to it as well. And then anybody can then see my reply. I can again edit it or delete it, mark it as unread, copy the link, share it to Outlook or Immersive Reader. Each channel is going to be dedicated to a specific topic, department, or project. Conversations, which these posts are referred to as conversations, around that topic, department, and project are held here, and the channel can be customized with its own tabs to bring resources into one place. A channel also creates a folder for the channel's shared files. So like I said before, when you add something to, when you add a file to Teams, it is actually uploaded to a SharePoint that is unique to that Teams. And so here you can see that Raymond replied, but he is replying directly to me, and he tagged me using the @ symbol. So now you can see over here on the right, now you can see the @ symbol. That means that Raymond tagged me or mentioned me, which means that what he was saying is specifically for me. Everybody can see it, but that way you can send general information to everybody while making sure a specific person pays attention to it. On the left side of the conversations, you'll actually see these little colored bars. These will allow you to quickly see what is relevant to you. So right now you can see we were talking about praise earlier, and I'll go into that shortly. But system administrator praised Annette, which automatically tagged her. But because I am not tagged in this post and it's not labeled as important, there's no highlight over here and there's no symbol over here. So while it is something that's very nice, and I'm going to go ahead and give that a heart reaction, it is not necessarily immediately relevant to me. Whereas here, this is marked as important, and it has the red line over here showing you that that's important. This is something that I have posted, so it'll show that Team's purple color. And then this is something that has tagged me, and so it's going to be orange. So that is a way that you can quickly scroll through and you'll be able to see what's important, so what's red, what you've posted, so what's purple, and then what you have been tagged in, and that's going to be orange. And it's a way to easily go through and look at all the conversations and immediately know what you're looking for. Tabs up at the top are a great way to give team members quick access to resources. A tab can link to Office 365 tools and more. So if you go to add a tab, it's going to be the same thing that we were looking at with the chat. You can add a tab to any Office program, and that will allow you to upload files directly to the tab itself. So if there is a team channel surrounding a specific project, or you need a specific resource for that team channel, you can add that file directly to the tab up at the top, and that will allow anybody to quickly click on that and start working. The wiki is also something that can be edited by members of the team if your SharePoint allows it. That's another place for people to consolidate information. So it's very much like Wikipedia, if you're familiar with that. You can add articles and subheadings and things underneath that to use as resources. So over on the left here, you can see all of the different teams I'm a part of. Oh, and here's another post that you can see. Now it's labeled in orange because this time the system administrator praised me. So he used praise, and because it tagged me, it shows up in orange. And I can go ahead and reply, and I can say thanks. with a GIF. Thank you very much, Raymond. And I can also react to that. So as you can see, it showed up with the orange bar again, and here's my purple bar indicating that's something that I've said. Praise is a great way to call out people for doing good work or going above and beyond, and I can tell you it definitely feels good to your employees if you give them praise through Teams. So all the different teams show up on the left here. As you can see, I am a member of a whole bunch of different teams, but let's say this appeals officers team, maybe not something that I necessarily feel like I need to be looking at all the time. So our friend the ellipsis here, which gives us all sorts of different information, I can use that to hide the team. So now that team doesn't show up here anymore. Instead, down here at the bottom, you'll see hidden teams, and that'll allow you to look at any teams that you've hidden. So hidden teams won't give you notifications, and they won't show up in your list of teams up here, but you can still go and look at them if you feel like you need to see what's going on in those hidden teams. In addition to hidden teams, by default, when you join a team, there will also be hidden channels. So you can see I'm a part of this team right here, this West Coast Seattle team, and by default, again, it'll take me to general. But if I click on 3 hidden channels, it'll actually show me the other channels that I have available to me in that team as well. So I can click on that channel, and now it'll show me that channel, but you can see right here it's in italics. So if a channel is in italics, that means that it's a hidden channel, and if I click off of it, then it's going to disappear again. So if you feel like a channel is important, you want to click on show right here, and that will show up, allow the channel to show up even if I go and click off. So now that HR channel is always going to show up there. So if there are channels, just like teams, that you feel like you don't necessarily need to see, you can then click on the ellipsis and re-hide that. And that way, when you're not looking at that channel, it will not show up. Just like the chats, when you click on a team, in addition to hiding it, when you click on a channel, in addition to hiding it, you can also pin a channel. That will make sure that that channel always stays at the top. So let's say there's a team that you're in and there's a specific channel in that team that's very important to you, but maybe the rest of the team isn't something that you need to be going through. You can pin that specific channel to the top, and again, it'll always show up here above everything else. You can also, depending on your ownership of a team, you can manage a team. When you go in there, you can look at the members that are in the team. You can also look at the guests, if anybody has invited any guests. You can search through the members, or you can add a member yourself. Adding a member to a team is very similar to adding a member to a chat. You just start typing their name, and they'll show up. Marvin's already in this team, but that's what it looks like. Oh, and now we can see Marvin has sent me a message. When the notification comes in like this, you can easily just click on it, and it'll take you right to that message. Very convenient for when you're trying to multitask and multiple people are messaging you. Real quick, I'm going to go back to Teams and go back into team management, because in addition to members, you can also look at the channels in the team. Right now, there's just a general channel, but if I wanted to add a channel, let's say, and I think, yep, so now we have a new project in the a new channel in the Snowstorm project team called Project Management. Oh, and now we have a hidden channel, which looks like somebody else just created this as well. If we go up to General, you will see that I created Project Management, and it will show here in General to everybody that I've created that team. And Marvin has also created Compliance Communication. So I showed you how to show the channels from over here, but actually right here, you can click on Show Channel, and now Compliance Communication will show up in the channels over there. So all of those options, showing, hiding, and any other options can be gotten to from many different parts of the team. And in addition to going in a manage team to add a channel, you can also add a channel directly from the options menu. In settings, you'll be able to change a couple different things. You can add a team picture, so you can see some of these other teams. Instead of just being the initials of the team, they have pictures next to them as well. So you can use that to give your team a little bit more personality or make it easy to find when scrolling through. You can also change member permissions. So over here you can see if you are the owner of the team, you can change what permissions people have. So everything from creating and updating channels, creating private channels, telling people what they can delete, whether they can add apps, and many other things that they can do. And this way, depending on what your team is for, you can customize what members are able to do. You can also, depending on your tenant, add guests to the team. This is useful if you're maybe working with contractors and you need them to be able to come in and collaborate on projects with you. And you can also decide what you want the guests to be able to do. When you mention somebody, you can mention the entire team, which will send out a notification to everybody. And this allows you to choose whether you want people to be able to do that. A team code allows you to create a code. If you remember down here when we went to join a team, one of the options was join a team with a code. And that will allow you to create that code to give that to somebody so that they can change it. You can also decide whether you want people to be allowed to use the fun stuff like emoji, memes, GIFs, and stickers. And then you can choose who can add tags. In addition to that, you can also look at analytics. I am definitely a proponent that data is beautiful, and being able to look at how many users, how many messages, how many apps, active users, how many roles you have, and then some graphs based on your active users over time and how many messages people are sending. So that's another thing. If you like data, you can go and look at either the last 7 days or the last month, and that will allow you to see how many people are actually using Teams. And then apps, you can add first-party Microsoft apps and manage what apps people are allowed to use. These are bold now, so you can see because they're bold, somebody has been updating. We've got Marvin in here, has been updating a lot. This right here is an announcement. This is basically Marvin saying, welcome to Teams Training 101, and to please ask questions in the chat. And I can reply and say, thank you, Marvin. Marvin makes a good point here. As best practice, you want to manage your team prior to adding members. Just in case, You want to make sure if you don't want people to be able to use certain features, or you don't want people to be able to use channels, you definitely want to set those before you add any members to your teams. Again, anytime there's anything new, you'll see this bold over here. You can see Marvin has actually created this announcement and posted it in multiple channels. So when you, let's see, so when you bring up the formatting option, you can actually click post in multiple channels here, and that will allow you to, like Marvin did right here, post the same post to multiple channels. You can check them, and you can even post them in multiple teams as well. So that's very useful if you want to be able to get information out to a large number of people at the same time. You can also choose who can reply to messages as well. So you can check either everyone can apply or only you and moderators. And then you can also change it from a conversation to an announcement. So this is the announcement that Marvin created and posted to multiple channels. Yes, I would like to discard this draft. So there is a little bit of etiquette for chatting in a team. Conversations in teams are different than chat because they are contained. Instead of starting a new conversation, you will often reply to an existing conversation. So conversations and files shared there will stay together. You can use all the same features from chat that we went over earlier to post in a channel. And you can also like using rich text and mentions, and you can meet in a channel to keep everyone in the team informed once meetings are enabled. So this, you can see Marvin created a meeting within the channel, and everybody who has access to this channel within this team can see this meeting. And if you click on that meeting, it'll take us to the details of the meeting. He set it as recurring, so it occurs every day starting today, and it goes from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Everybody in the channel has visibility to the channel meeting. It is being set as a recurring meeting so that it can populate in your calendar. And you can click on this button right here, add to calendar, and that'll allow us to see that meeting over in our calendar. Oh, maybe not. Again, I might not have permissions for it because it is the demo tenant. But I can also view the meeting details is the only thing. Thank you, Marvin, for creating the channel meeting. When you do a channel meeting, like I said, it's everybody who has access to that channel. When you create a new channel in Teams, you're actually able to choose who has access to that channel. And when you make a channel private, you can invite individual people who have access to that team in that channel. And that way, if there's a project that only a couple people are working on, but maybe it's a bigger project than a group chat calls for, then you can create a private channel. And then when you create a meeting in that channel, if it is a private channel, only the people who have access to that channel are able to view that meeting. You can also add members to teams, which is, like I went over earlier, very similar to adding members to chats. You can leave the team if you need to. Editing the team, basically allows you to change the team name and the team description and whether or not you want it to be public or not. Again, public will show up for anybody who clicks on join or create a team down here. And you can also get a link to a team if you want to message a link directly to somebody. Yes, Marvin also pointed out if somebody leaves a team, it will put a message in the chat, much like these channel creation messages. It will say so-and-so has left the team. And that way you don't want to leave teams lightly, essentially. You can't secretly leave a team. You only want to leave a team if it's genuinely not relevant to you anymore. You can also manage tags of the team, which basically allows you to, within a channel or a team, you can create tags, which could be different groups of people. So you can say, if you have accountants, you can create a tag name for accountants and then add people to that tag. So let's say Marvin is an accountant, and I can hit create. And now when I'm in a team, I can add accountants, and that will send a notification to everybody in that team, or in that tag, sorry, which is a smaller group of people. And that way you can easily manage groups of people within a team. Just like, let's see if we have anything over here. You can also upload files just like you could in chat. I want to see if we've had any files uploaded to this one. Again, it's possible that, yeah, they're not available just because the demo tenant is not have all the features available right now. But if any files are uploaded to a team, you can view them up here. You can upload a file by clicking attach, just like you could in chat. But you can also upload a file by clicking the plus button up there. All right, let's see if this one works. Yep, I don't have access to that file. I can request access, but it may not let me. Yep, doesn't work. So if somebody uploads a file by clicking on attach right down here, you can see that it shows up in the team. You have the ability to edit it in Teams, open it in your desktop app, or open in your browser, or download the file. If you click open in your desktop app right here, it will be open on your desktop app for Word or Excel or PowerPoint, depending on the kind of file, on your computer. However, it will be basically a streaming copy, which will save a temporary version to your computer, but it will not be saved on your computer once you save and quit. So instead of downloading, I usually recommend opening in the desktop app because that ensures collaboration with other people. A second document has been added. Let's see. Yeah, it's still not allowing me to look at it. In addition to that, you can get the link, or you can just directly make it a tab from there. Yep, now here's the little angry face because unfortunately it's not working. Using the file system is very similar to just using a normal your file explorer or SharePoint or OneDrive. Everything is uploaded directly to the root folder, but you can create new folders and add those new folders, add new files into those new folders, and organize them how you like. Again, that's dependent on whether or not you are an owner or a moderator of a team. Yeah, Marvin, I'm sorry. Earlier, Raymond said that it may take 24 hours for any changes to take effect, so I don't think it's going to be working for us right now. But that's because we are prioritizing people who are collaborating with teams. You can also co-author files. So any files that have been uploaded that you open from within Teams will open a default but in Teams, or you, like I said earlier, you can open them in the web app, which is open in browser, or you can open them in your desktop app, which will allow you to have the same file open that you have, that other people can have open at the same time. And because of that, you can co-author files with people and be working at the same time. There are limitations. You cannot be working on the same paragraph in Word. You cannot be working on the same slide in PowerPoint, and you cannot be working on the same cell in Excel. But other than those restrictions, you can work on the same file as other people in your organization. Let's see if that works. Still may not, though. Nope. That's okay. It is very similar to working in Word, Excel, or PowerPoint that you've seen before. It's just all done within Teams itself. So that is one of the really nice things about Teams, is all the work that you do in Microsoft apps, save for email itself, is able to be done through Teams. And even then, Teams allows you to have conversations that you may have used to have in email, but if you limit it to Teams, it eliminates a lot of the needless emailing back and forth of short conversations. So usually things that used to be emailed can now be talked about in Teams, and will cut down on email a lot. So if you are limiting your work to the Microsoft apps, really the only things you need to have open are Teams and Outlook. You definitely want to make sure that you are replying to people when you want to comment on something that they've said, because whenever somebody replies to a thread, it will actually move the thread down to be the newest thing. So if you accidentally start a new conversation instead of replying, it will not line up with the thing that you're replying to. So you definitely want to make sure that you're hitting this reply button. Like I said, you want to consider using chat or Teams instead of sending an email when possible. You can upload files to manage assets. You don't want to create new versions of existing documents, but instead share links within the chat or conversations. And like I was saying, how you can get a link to a file, you definitely want to do that instead of downloading the file, making changes offline, and then uploading a new copy. And that eliminates, emailing the same file back and forth, and now all of a sudden you have 50 versions of a file and you don't know which one's the newest one. When you're co-authoring within Teams, it's always going to be the most recent version. But the really nice thing about that is Office apps have version history built into them as long as something is saved to SharePoint or OneDrive, and that allows you to go through and see all the changes that have been made to that file and undo changes if you deem it necessary. You can always add links to other things as well. If you basically anything you create in Teams, you can add a link to it, and you can use that link to post it into a team. And I believe, oh, now it says, so here we go. Now the attachments are working. You can see, I think if I hit OneDrive, it'll still, yeah, still not quite in there, but see, does it give, nope, still don't have access. Let's see. But this is what it looks like when you go to attach a file. Again, very similar to an email. You can upload it from your computer. You can link it directly to your OneDrive. You can look at other teams and channels that you have access to, and you can share that file from other teams and channels to this team. But just be careful, because just if you are not the original owner of the file and you don't have permission to adjust permissions of the file, sharing a file from a different team or channel may not give access to all of the people in this team. And then you can also browse your recent files right here. Down here, you can manage teams using this right here, this settings wheel right here, and you can see all the different teams that we have that I am a member of. And then over here, you can also choose whether you want to show teams or have them be hidden. And you can see whether or not they are public or if they are private. You can also see how many people there are, and you can click on that to go directly to that team and see what people are available. So that's a really easy way to look at all the teams that you're a member or owner of, how many people they have, what type they are, and whether or not you can see them. And then you can also do the standard things in there. Up at the top, there's also a filter option, and that'll allow you to filter your teams. So if I just want to look at the hazmat team, I can filter it and find it easily. That's really good if you are a member of a whole lot of teams. That allows you to look at your teams that way. All right, so I think that's about everything when it comes to teams and channels specifically. I'm going to take a minute right here. If anybody has any interjections or questions, just let me know.
Hey Shane, I think there are some people who are interested in seeing kind of like when you're doing teams, kind of how planner and all that stuff ties into it. So just wanted to let you know that that was something that we were seeing.
Okie dokie. Thank you for letting me know. Alrighty. So, now over here on the left, underneath teams, you do have your calendar. So calendar is going to function very similarly to how it functioned in Outlook. So you can see the work week right here, and you can navigate back and forth through different weeks. You can click on today to go back to today, and you can click on work week and change it to day view or week view. Week view will allow you to have the weekends in there, and day view will give you just a look at today. Anytime a meeting is created that you are invited to or that you are a part of, it'll show here. So let's go ahead and create a new meeting. Call it meeting. And I'm going to say Marvin is a required attendee, and system administrator is a required attendee. And I'm going to say it's going to be at 11:30. And I'm going to click send. Now, while I was doing that, you can see over here on the left, Teams has a little @ symbol. That means that somebody mentioned me specifically. So I'm going to go click on that. And now you can see there is a bubble next to compliance communication. So I'm going to click on that. And there we go. Marvin created a plan. So over here, click on the ellipses, and you can see now I have a notification next to Planner. So Planner is another Microsoft app that is built into Microsoft Teams. It allows you to create tasks for you and your teams to be able to see who is taking care of what. So now you can see I have 2 tasks that have been assigned to me. These are their due dates right here. So this one I have due today. I need to review the audit. And this one is going to be due in a couple days, and I'm going to submit a plan. You can also assign it to other people. You can copy the task, you can make a link to it, or you can move it. Now I have a new task to send emails. Let's say I've already reviewed the audit. I'm going to click that checkbox, and now it moves over to completed. If I did that by accident, though, I can unclick the checkbox, and it'll move back to not started. As well, if I click on it like this, I can add attachments to the task. So if, for example, under submit plan, I can, there we go. I can, once I've created my plan, say as a document, I can add an attachment to that. And that way, whoever created the task and whoever's checking up on that can go see what is available in there. You can change the filters by your tasks, because if a task is created in a team, by default, it has visibility to everybody in that team in that channel. And that allows you to, you can then filter by when it's due, you can filter by priority, and you can group by progress, what the plan itself is, and you can also, again, group by priority as well. So these are all medium priority, but having it grouped by priority is good if you have a lot of things you need to work on and you want to be able to see what's the most important and what maybe can wait a little bit. You can also change the view. You can see how all the tasks, who has started them, who has completed them, and whether or not anybody is late. But you can also view tasks in a schedule. So now you can see this is my calendar for the month, and these are the tasks that have been assigned to me, and you can see when they are due. In addition to that, you can also, they will be, let's see if I can make a new task. Yeah, I don't think it allows me to make a new task. Under activity, you can see what has been done. So right now you can see Marvin has assigned me to a task, Marvin has assigned me to a task, Marvin has assigned you to a task. And that will also show, again, with certain permissions, that will show other tasks that have been created by other users and assigned. Under recent, doesn't look like it has anything in there, but anything that you have, any of the tabs or the tasks that you have created will show under recent. And then all just allows you to look at the planner of all your different teams. So right now we have this one, and it'll allow us to go over and look at that tab itself under the compliance communication. So you can see it was assigned to me, but I can also decide to assign it to system administrator. And that way now both of us have access to this task and both of us are able to complete it if needed. This is a really good way to organize a project. If you're doing project management, if you're in charge of the project, you can assign tasks to different people. Again, you can change their urgency and how important they are and who needs to do what. And you can also check up on who is completing what and who is maybe lagging a little bit behind. So yeah, here's what Marvin posted. It does not replace Microsoft Project. It's simple task delegation within your work group. The calendar within Planner is only for tasks and cannot be added to your calendar. Yes, that is, the calendar is specifically for meetings. And then the calendar within tasks or within Planner is specifically for tasks that are assigned to you. But it is a great way, again, to assign tasks and manage projects. You can also go to the website, which it may or may not let me do. Oh yeah, it does. So you can actually click that and it'll take you to your own planner and what has been assigned to you, what tasks you have. But again, everything is available from within Teams, and it's definitely recommended as you can to be able to keep everything within Teams. Under calendar, you can see this is the meeting that I've created, and it will show up under everybody's calendar that I invited, and they can also RSVP. Underneath that, though, is Scheduling Assistant, which is very useful because it will show the schedules of the other people who I have added to the calendar invite. So if they have meetings or calls scheduled already, it will allow me to see what they have available, and it will block out certain times. So that's very useful when being able to host a meeting. On top of that, you can also do meeting notes, which will allow you to take notes on a meeting, and if the meeting is being recorded, it will record those notes as well. And then there's also a whiteboard, and the whiteboard will allow you to draw on a whiteboard if you have a touchscreen or use your mouse. There's also a chat log for the teams. Anybody who is within the team can ask questions and chat along. Meetings are very similar to calls, so all of the same functions that are available in meetings are also available in calls. But calls are, you can do calls between multiple people, but this calls tab is more for if you're doing one-on-one calls with people. So this is the same sort of functionality as earlier in the chat when you can call people directly. You can look through your call history, and if you do not pick up a call, if you miss a call, people can also leave voicemails for you. And then you can view your contacts as well. And it'll allow you to chat, email, and call them as well. The last thing I want to go over is activity and search. So now that we've seen everything from Teams and chat and all that sort of stuff. This activity tab right here is basically all of the notifications that you get. It's a summary of everything that's happened in Teams and is filterable based on different types of activities. So if you click filter here, I can filter it. Let's say I want to see what tasks I've been assigned. I can type in task and it'll show me these are the tasks that Marvin has showed me or has assigned to me. You can filter by people and you can filter by specific teams as well. And the nice thing is, if I click right here where it says Marvin mentioned compliance communication, now it'll show me highlighted where I was mentioned. But if I click on Teams, it'll actually take me directly to that message in Teams as well. So here it is again. So you can see the activity allows you to look at everything that has been going on in Teams. If people react to your messages, if people mention you, it all shows up in activity. And you can also change it to My Activity, which will show you everything that you have done in Teams. So you can see here are all the things that I have posted. But the feed is where you want to go maybe after you've been away from work or you've gone on break. Feed is going to show you everything that's happened while you're gone. And then search is very similar, but I can search for pretty much anything and I'll be able to look at everything in all of the teams that shows up. So you can see I searched for Marvin. Here are all the messages that Marvin has posted. If I click on people, it'll allow me to click on his name. And if I click on files, anything that he has uploaded or worked on will show up over here. The search is very comprehensive, and it allows you to search for anything. You can narrow it down, but you can also hit slash and it'll allow you to do different commands. You can change your presence on here, available, away, be right back, busy, but you can also call people directly from here. There's a lot you can do in there. Up here, we already talked about the presences, but you can also set a status message. If you're out of office, you can say that you're out of office until a certain time. You can view all of your saved messages, and you can also change a few settings. This is nice for if you don't want to work with the default color of Teams, you can change it to the dark mode, or you can change it to high contrast. If you would like to do that, you can also look at privacy settings, like read receipts. People, by default, it'll show people that you've read their messages, but you can also opt into surveys. And then notifications will change what kind of notifications you will get through Teams. Your banner and email basically means the banner will come in from the side and an email will be sent. Or you can do just banner, or you can only show it in the feed, which is your activity feed over here. So that's helpful for if you have multiple things, if you like to get notifications on everything like I do, or if you don't want to get any notifications on anything. Just keep in mind that any urgent things that are sent to you will send you a notification regardless. And then some call settings are available as well. You can set your voicemail settings, as well as change your ringtone. The last thing I want to point out is down here, this little help option right here. This is very, very important because Microsoft takes feedback very Very urgently, we are we really look at feedback. We take it seriously, and suggesting a feature and giving feedback are two things that are very important. If you suggest a feature, if there's something that Teams doesn't have that you think it needs, you can suggest a feature here. And if there's something about Teams that you wish worked a little bit differently, you can give feedback by clicking on here. In addition to that, it also has trainings available. If you click on that, it'll take you to the trainings, and you can go through and you can look at all the videos that Microsoft has available for you to be able to watch them at your leisure. And then the topics will allow you to pick certain topics that you want to know more about when it comes to Teams. And then what's new is basically anytime there's an update for Teams, it'll allow you to look at what has been changed. So with that, I personally want to thank everybody for being here for our Teams training. I would like to open it up in case our anybody else has anything they want to chime in with or any questions they want to ask.
I think it went well. Thank you, Shane, for your presentation. This is Marvin. Abby or Roxy, do you want to add anything before we conclude?
No, Shane, that was a great presentation. Thank you so much to all the federal agencies who joined. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to the person that sent you the invite, and they will get you in contact with your customer success manager on the Microsoft side, who will be able to help you carry Teams and all of the training out forward. So please reach out to us. Yes, great job, Shane. You have an encore in the audience, and thank you everyone for joining. We do have these trainings scheduled every day this week, as well as an AMA session that's going to be held on Friday. So just join using the same link that you did today, and it will take you right to the training at the same time. So thank you all for joining.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you guys. I appreciate everybody's attention, and yeah, keep using Teams. It's a great app.